Good evening and welcome to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I am your host, Mrs. M, and tonight's episode revolves around the development of the self in society. As you grow, you take on different life roles. For example, child, student, partner, parent, employee. As these roles change and grow, they affect your relationship with others. You usually have more than one life role at a time. For example, you can be both a child to your parents and a parent to your child. You can be a partner to your wife or husband and an employee and a leader in your community all at the same time. In different roles, you can be dependent, whereby you need others to help you. Independent, whereby you do not need others' help or support. Or interdependent, where you and someone else depend on each other for support. Which life role is dependent on others, such as parents or caregivers for everything, but responsible for listening to parents or caregivers?
Young children?
That is correct. Which life role is dependent on adults and caregivers for money and shelter, but responsible for their own behavior?
A teenager?
That is correct. Which life role is responsible for working hard at studies and passing these studies?
A student?
That is correct. You are in an independent relationship with a life partner, wife, or husband, and are responsible for caring for each other.
A partner?
That is correct. A person responsible for looking after children.
A parent?
That is correct. A person who becomes a caregiver to their parents and are responsible for the welfare of them when they are old.
An older child?
That is correct. They may be dependent on others whilst also helping others. For example, giving advice or guidance, or supporting someone with their pension money.
A grandparent?
That is correct. They provide food, shelter, and necessities for your family and loved ones who are dependent upon them.
A breadwinner?
That is correct. They are independent and interdependent, meaning they can support themselves as well as work with others in a team.
An employee?
That is correct. They need to establish and maintain a good relationship with employees, as they are responsible for giving them fair working conditions and paying them on time each month.
An employer?
That is correct. You are able to make decisions, guide and show initiative, as well as show respect and fairness to followers.
A leader?
That is correct. They listen to others' instructions and obey, as well as cooperate and respect leaders.
A follower?
That is correct. Some roles become more important than others. For example, your role as a child and your relationship with your parents change as you grow from a small child. When you think your parents are wonderful and know everything, then you become a teenager and start questioning your parents and think you know everything. Once you are an adult, you again realize your parents know a lot. Then you yourself become a parent, and this role becomes an important role as you are no longer a child. Another example is when you get a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you may neglect your role and relationship with your friends. Sometimes life roles change or are forced on people because of circumstances. Even though you are still very young, you may have to look after and support your parents because they are ill or do not have any money. When handling each role, there are competencies and skills you can learn and practice to handle each of your life roles effectively.
A learner?
That is correct. What type of role is loving, empathizing, sharing, helping, supporting, and also a listener?
A friend?
That is correct. Which life role is helping, sharing, loving, takes responsibility as well as maintains their and others' health?
A family member?
That is correct. An individual who participates in, leads, acts, discusses, cares, as well as gets involved in the community, school, church, as well as political activities.
A citizen?
That is correct. A person who appreciates art and music, relaxing, reflecting, and playing, as well as knowing what resources are available for sport and recreation.
A person at leisure?
That is correct. Society and culture often try to tell us what our roles should be and what our relationships with others should be. For example, in the past, and in some cultures today, women were expected to have the role of wives and mothers, not employees or leaders. Society and culture also help you to move into different roles and to know what is expected of you. For example, initiation rituals in some cultures prepare adolescents for the change from child to respective adult. In addition, there are also physical changes. Adolescence is a time of life when a child develops into an adult, usually somewhere between 10 and 19 years of age. During this time, boys' and girls' bodies go through big changes. Both girls and boys experience an increase in hormones. Hormones are natural substances that are produced in the body and that influence the way that the body grows or develops. Adolescents grow taller and the shape of their bodies change. Hormones change what happens to a girl's body during adolescence.
Their body gets more curves and their hips get wider. They start getting hair under their arms and their breasts start to develop. Their skin starts to get oilier, which means that they often get pimples or acne, and they start developing pubic hair. The leg muscles get bigger and stronger as well, and obviously their menstrual cycle starts, and this is where they ovulate and they produce eggs within the body, which can then be fertilized by the sperm and grow into a baby.
That is correct. What changes occur in boys' bodies during adolescence?
Well, with boys, they gain weight, their shoulders become wider, their muscles get bigger and stronger, their skin also gets oilier, making them more prone to pimples and acne, and they get an Adam's apple. That's the lump that sticks out at the front of the person's neck, a guy's neck, and then when they talk or they swallow, we see it moving up and down. Their voice changes as well, and it starts to get deeper. Their penis gets longer and wider. Their hair under their arms and their legs starts to grow, and they develop pubic hairs. Their facial hair also starts to grow, and they start getting things like erections and wet dreams. They start producing sperm, which are the seeds that can fertilize a woman's egg, and that then grows into a baby.
That is correct. Adolescents also experience emotional changes. List 13 emotional changes adolescents experience.
They start to feel very unsure about themselves and they want to try new things and start to take dangerous risks. They are constantly worried about the way that they look and they become very interested in the opposite sex. As well as they start to question their beliefs and values and start arguing with their parents. Some become irritable very easily and feel that no one seems to understand them. They start to look for excitement despite the fact that they have mood swings. They can go from being very happy to sad or depressed, literally in a minute. They also start to worry that they are not normal or different from all of their friends. And they feel like an adult and very grown up 1 minute and very young the next minute.
That is correct. Social changes include relationships with others and peer groups. Teenagers have 5 different types of relationships. Identify them.
It's at this stage that teenagers start to have fights and disagreements with their parents as they develop their own views that are different from those of their parents. Their peers become more important to them than their parents or their caregivers. Peers are the friends and the people of their own age or their own social group, And they have close relationships with these people who are outside of their family. These young adolescents often form groups of friends of the same sex, and then they start to behave in the same way as each other and dress the same way and normally do the same things. Older adolescents make friends with the opposite sex, and they obviously start having romantic relationships, so they start dating and things.
That is correct. Friends are very important to adolescents, but they can also make you feel like you do things you may not normally choose to do. This is called peer pressure. You do things because you want to fit in with your friends and to look like you are cool. You are scared of being teased and called names, and so you make choices that may be unsafe or get you into trouble. List 3 choices one might make that are unsafe.
This could lead to teenagers feeling pressurized to wear certain clothes because that's what everyone else is wearing, and could lead them to have fights with their parents about the type of clothes or about the amount of money the parents need to spend to buy them these clothes. They could also do silly things like try smoking, drinking alcohol, or even taking drugs. These are not good for our health and can lead to accidents, fights, and trouble with their parents and or the police. They could also miss school, which also gets them into trouble with their parents, the school, and even sometimes their other friends, because someone has to tell lies about somebody else.
That is correct. List 4 ways that can help you deal with peer pressure.
You can be true to yourself and make your own choices. You know, the choices that are good for you and for your life. You need to be assertive and to tell people what you think, feel, want, and will or will not do. You could also talk to someone else who will listen to you, as they might be able to help you. And you could change your group of friends for people who are more like you.
That is correct. And for the final $1 million question. As you move into the workforce, you experience more changes and an increased sense of responsibility. List 5 things you are responsible for when you commence work.
You become responsible for doing a good job. You become responsible to the team with which you work. Your family can now rely on you for money that you are now earning. You could make more friends where you work, and you could also become responsible for planning your career and working towards achieving your goals.
And that answer is correct. Congratulations!